We're speaking with Michael Venuto, co-founder and CIO of Toroso Investments, and we'll be talking about his blockchain fund, as well as how to pick cryptocurrencies from an investor standpoint. Michael, it's so good to have you on the show. It's your first time on Kitco. Welcome.
Thank you, David. I'm thrilled to be here. I've really enjoyed your content.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're with us today. We're going to be talking about the Amplified Transformational Data Sharing ETF. That's a mouthful, but fortunately you have a good ticker for that, BLOK. It's nice and easy to remember, more so than the longer name. And we're going to be going over everything in your fund. Well, not everything, but the top holdings in your fund and how you as a fund manager select cryptocurrencies. This will be a very interesting discussion. First, I'd like to talk about institutional money flowing into the space. So as you've heard, recent news, Coinbase is planning to IPO. Tell us about what you know and how this might impact institutional money.
Yeah, so Coinbase is what we like to think of as an on-ramp, right? A way of connecting traditional finance or traditional investors to the world of cryptocurrency and blockchain. So, we do look for these kinds of companies in block and BLOK as public entities. So we're excited about them coming public. Now, they're doing it as a direct listing instead of a traditional IPO. So what that really means is their approach is to find liquidity for existing shareholders, which is primarily, employees and original venture investors, while, bringing it to market rather than dump a bunch of new cash into Coinbase as an entity. So we're excited about it. We own a company called Voyager, which is quite similar. It's much smaller, obviously, and they have more of a Robinhood model, low cost acquisition of multiple coins while doing more of a lending model to generate revenue.
Generally, would you consider looking at exchanges as an investment? I mean, what are the benefits of buying an exchange? Like, how do they, just from a sort of, operational cash flow perspective, are they profitable investments for you, Michael?
Yes. So it's funny. In my previous career, I did a fund at Horizon Asset Management that we invested in traditional exchanges, stock exchanges.
Yeah, right.
And the concept is exchanges make money whether or not the underlying asset that's being exchanged is going up or down. It's really just about volume. So when things go down a lot, volume spikes. When things go up a lot, volume spikes. So, a lot of people are wondering, is Coinbase about to go public right before another crypto winter, and will that hurt them?
What is a
I'm
crypto
sure.
winter?
Oh, a crypto winter. That's what we experienced most of 2018. Most of, crypto winters are those prolonged 12 to 18 month periods where Bitcoin and crypto stop going up for a while.
Yeah.
So exchanges are very interesting though, because they have a model where they're acting like the house at a casino, right? They're collecting chips regardless of whether or not the end investors are winning.
Okay, so are we going to see a crypto winter? Let's just get right into it.
Yeah. Look, I always believe that anything that goes up in a linear, straight up fashion is probably made off or made up, right? So it doesn't surprise me the fits and starts that we see with the overall cryptocurrency market. We usually go up faster than we should, and then we come down faster than we should because it's a new asset, because it's new to adoption, because there's only 100 million users today. It's going to do that in a more violent way. So I don't think we're nearing that next bear market by any means. I think we'll see in Bitcoin at least 100K before we start to see the slowdown of adoption.
Okay, we're going to come back to your Bitcoin 100K call, but first let's talk more about this crypto winter. Even if we have a huge correction in all cryptocurrencies as a whole, it would still be good for exchanges, would it not?
Absolutely. Now, just like with traditional stock exchanges, they have beta to the underlying asset, right? People are in them because they think things are going up or down. So short run, they usually react negative, and sometimes even more negative. But long term, once the earnings start to come in and you see the returns for these companies in terms of actual revenue, then they tend to correct rather quickly.
Okay. Now, the institutional interest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies at large, how much of that is tied to adoption? And I'm going to link this back into the volume that we were talking about. I wonder if the volume that you need for crypto exchanges to do well is, again, tied to institutional interest.
Right. So, Coinbase has Coinbase and then Coinbase Pro, and now they're doing custody for funds and things like that. Gemini's in there now, Bank of New York Mellon, Fidelity, like the amount of custodians that are coming to be the connection between traditional finance and blockchain finance or cryptocurrency based finance is amazing. Now, it's not terribly new, right? Companies have been doing it for a while. It just was quiet. And then last August, we got Saylorized, right? Michael Saylor came in and had his epiphany moment. And rather than just do it for MicroStrategies, which is one of our top holdings in Block, he did it and then went out and tried to get others to do it, right? He spoke with Tesla, he spoke with Mara. Like there's a number of companies that he's helped. Same with NYDIG. We saw Morgan Stanley coming in. I saw a tweet a few minutes ago, not sure if it's true or not, but I saw Peter Schiff say, I was wrong on Bitcoin.
It's April Fool's today. So it's the 1st of April. He almost got me there too.
Yeah. I'm going to guess you're right. I didn't bite on that one yet. But
we almost called him up over here at Kitco and say, hey, Peter, come back ASAP and tell us why you're wrong. I think he's trolling us, so to speak. But anyway, keep going, Michael. You were onto something there.
No, I mean, I think this entire institutional adoption is here to stay. I actually had to do a small debate with Schiff on this, and he does his gold argument, right? Oh, but the gold is the one. Look, the argument for gold and Bitcoin are very similar. The transition point, though, and this is what I said to him, was, do you see major public corporations lined up to buy gold in their treasury? I can't think of a single one, right? The line for Bitcoin is very, very big, and they're all just trying to figure out how to get in an efficient manner.
You said that to Schiff? How did he respond?
Oh, he just blew it off. It's one of those quick interviews. It is what it is.
It's funny you mentioned Michael Saylor. We actually we got Frank Giustra on the show just yesterday, actually, and he was publicly challenging Saylor to a debate, and Saylor has been so far ignoring his requests. But it wouldn't surprise me if he takes the challenge. He doesn't shy away from very much. Michael Saylor? Well, he hasn't. Yeah, I mean, if you know the guy, talk to him for us.
See what we can do.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to have you on again and debate some of these gold bugs. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that Michael Saylor, some of these other people, they're being challenged by the gold community as well, because Saylor has been going on various media and talking about how Bitcoin is superior to gold and whatnot. Do you agree with that view? First of all, do you think that Bitcoin is like gold? They have similar characteristics, but is superior to gold in those functions?
So I think the real answer is it will be superior, right? So I think people are a little bit ahead of themselves on it. I'm the biggest kind of Bitcoin bull there is out there, but I also strongly believe in gold for today's economy, for today's infrastructure, for what we're dealing with in today's markets. 20 years from now, maybe 10, maybe 50, I don't know when, but it's very similar to the way that the Citibank report put it out there. When Bitcoin first came out, they said, oh, it's peer-to-peer network of cash. Then it was a cash alternative. Then it store value. Then it was, the Northern Star for all of cryptos. The store of value, gold replacement is the current narrative. The end narrative is really that we go from 100 million users to 4 or 5 billion. I mean, a couple billion users, just like the internet. And then from that protocol, you can build all these altcoin ideas. You can build all these processes. You can build things that cannot be built on the current Bitcoin infrastructure.
Well, hold on.
It's not big enough yet.
How are we going to scale up to basically the entire planet using cryptocurrencies and blockchain? Like, walk me through the applications here, because you've got to remember, not everybody is an investor. There's only a small percentage of people who actually have the means to even invest. And so we've got to weed out those people, because they're not using blockchain as investments. So then the assumption then has to be that blockchain will be used in everyday life, right? Is that what you're alluding to? Tell us
I
about
am
that.
saying I'm saying that that blockchain or the Bitcoin network or cryptocurrency networks are Internet 2.0. Internet 1.0 was democratize access to information. Internet 2.0 is make that information verifiable, unique, ability to transact on it. We are right now in that 1999 phase where everybody's super excited, but a whole lot more infrastructure has to be built and a whole lot more users have to come on and a whole lot more scale has to happen. How that's going to happen, I don't know. I'm hoping and trying very hard to invest in the companies that are going to help that happen in our block ETF.
Okay,
But
let's talk
if
about
I
that
knew the
now.
path, I'd
Yeah.
be drinking a pina colada instead of talking to you right now. So
Well, I hope that one day when you're drinking a pina colada on the beach, you'll still be talking to me. Don't forget the little
yes,
guys like you, like
I'll
me.
invite you down. Yeah.
When you're lying on a beach somewhere with your billions, please don't forget us little people. 1999 phase. We know what happened 2 years after that. The tech bubble bursted.
Sure.
Past tense, bursted.
Yep.
How do you avoid that in the crypto space? Well, how do you find investments that you think are likely not going to be bursting in the next 2 years?
All right. So when we talk crypto, we have where I kind of think of it as two different things, right? You have Bitcoin, which is as they call it, like the North Star of the currency market. I think the path to that has been kind of predetermined at this point. Basically, what Satoshi Nakamoto wrote out is just going to take place over the next 100 years. Um, then you have everything else, right? You have Ethereum, you have a multiple different altcoins and tokens, you have security tokens, utility tokens, NFTs, the whole nine yards. Most of that stuff is going to have a lot of trouble because the infrastructure is not substantial enough yet to support them. So I call it pets.com phenomenon, right? So pets.com was a great idea, as evidenced by the fact that today we have chewy.com, which just had stellar earnings, right? Blew it through the in estimates. And we all order stuff for our cats and dogs and our birds and our lizards through them, and it works. But in 1999, all it was hype because there wasn't the logistics set up. There wasn't the delivery mechanism set up. FedEx and UPS didn't have everything they have. Shipping was expensive. The internet users were slightly more than what we have now with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The internet speeds were a joke. There was no scale. So the applications were too early. So I think of most altcoins like that. That said, there's going to be some that survive. So the way I'm going to get exposure to them is through miners that produce them, like Hive and Hut 8 and Mara and Riot. These companies choose where to go in producing, and they're producing Bitcoin. Hive specifically is doing a lot with Ethereum. So we try and have this diversified exposure to them through the miners and through companies like Voyager that give you access to them.
I want to go back to Bitcoin and close out the conversation. You said it could go to $100,000 before another crypto winter would occur. Do you feel the same way about any other coins? What are your favorite coins?
Yeah, so I think that it's very, very hard to pick anything other than Bitcoin. Now, I don't consider myself a maximalist, one of those people running around Clubhouse yelling at everybody. But I think that in terms of ability to know that it's likely to survive, I think the ship has sailed with Bitcoin. So now it's just about scaling and applications and processes and thinking through it.
Well, if the ship has sailed, why would you still invest?
Because it's still there's still a lot to do with it, right? There's a lot more adoption. There's a lot more things that get to those prices, right? Look, it's set up in a way where its determination brings it to an ever larger price, right? It's a mathematical equation, essentially.
Yeah.
All of us worried about the price are just speculators. That
Right.
price really is there to incentivize people to further the chain and then eventually build things on the chain. We
Mm-hmm.
can't really build on it today. That was Ethereum's innovation. They built a chain that you could build stuff on. I think a lot of that will get co-opted into Bitcoin in the future. I'm sure there's a million nerds out there who will tell me I'm wrong,
Right.
but I think there are a lot of things that will change in the future.
I know
I
you hold.
am really. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I know you hold miners and some other tech companies like PayPal in your portfolio, MicroStrategy, Voyager. You told me, and so I wonder if you hold specific cryptocurrencies.
So right now, the SEC does not allow ETFs to
Okay.
hold direct exposure to cryptocurrency. We're a traditional 40 Act product. I don't think the SEC will allow it very soon.
Hmm.
I don't think it's makes a lot of sense that they should stand in as a
Yeah.
trusted third party and to allow people to own something that's supposed to replace a trusted third party. So we get exposure to a lot of them through public companies
All right.
that are working within those currencies.
And if you were to just buy cryptocurrencies for yourself with your own money without a fund mandate, what are the criteria you'd be looking for when you're picking coins? Let's say you're looking between Theta, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin, whatever the case may be.
Okay, so from an investment standpoint, I do personally own Bitcoin. And then I own small amounts of money in a few altcoins, not because I think they're going to the moon or whatever, but because I really want to understand them. And to me, that's the most important thing to think about with the price is that price is there as a meme to get you excited. But
Hmm.
once you buy something, go learn about it. So I own a small amount of basic attention token, a small amount of Steam. Because I find those two protocols really, really interesting, right? The idea of decentralized social media or content and desocialized search engines, really
Hmm.
awesome. And I do own a small amount of Dogecoin. I know it's April 1st, and we've heard our Peter Schiff joke already, but and I
Are
own
you
it because
pulling
I
my
love
leg
the.
right now? Let's just set the
No,
record straight. No? Okay.
no, I definitely own some Dogecoin. I bought it 3.5 years ago.
Oh, you
My
made a
brother and
killing
I
on
did
that.
it. I don't know if I'll ever sell it. I bought it
Okay.
to learn about it, and I love the fact that it engages my children. My children all know about it. They all look into it. It's
Yeah.
t- it's it's been a teaching tool. Um,
Okay.
so I think there's value in teaching.
Yeah.
So I can't give any good advice on how to look at altcoins, other than if you're going to invest a small amount of money, use it as an opportunity to learn something,
Yeah.
get education from it.
Michael, I want to thank you so much for coming to the show. We'll have you back on again and talk about specific coins. Thank you very much today.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Kitco News. I'm David Lin.